Hello, my name is Selepe and welcome to the Drawing Board, your favorite sports talk show whereby we get to sit down with players, former sports players, as well as people who get to contribute in the soccer industry. Today I'm having a conversation with Thula Gaoshubela, who is the president of the South African Football Players Union. To date, there's over 700 members in them. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for making time. Just for our viewers there at home, what is the mandate and the vision of the trade union?
Well, the mandate and the vision of the trade union SAPFU, firstly, is to protect the rights of the players. That's the first part. But how do we do that? Part of it is to ensure that the players whose rights we protect are well equipped to understand them. We look at what kind of footballer do we want in this 21st century. It must be a footballer that's financially well off, that understands its own contract, but also be ready to take over, as part of giving back to football, take over the reins of football, be in the administration of the game, be in the political aspect of the game, be where be in the kitchen, be where rules are made. Because as you know that part of the challenges that we've always been faced with as SAPFU or as footballers was that, or football in general, you'll see when you look at the makeup of football, whether it's at the National Executive Committee of SAPFU, you realize that the people who form those committees are not necessarily footballers. As footballers, we get there, we play, and after playing, then we move on. So it comes Miss Lepe, who's maybe been blessed. She's got 5 rand here and there, and she buys a team. She gets into those leadership roles, and they make decisions. Sometimes the decisions that they make are not necessarily the decisions that are that favors
for the benefit
those
of
who
the
play the football stuff.
Yeah.
So our vision is to ensure that in all these big cake, players must be able to locate their role and say what is it that they want to do. Whilst at the same time making sure that those who do not want to be involved in football, they are able to live their lives much better and happier like any other citizen. Noting that we retire very early, by the way.
Yeah. So the game of soccer has evolved as time goes by. What are the main challenges that you're currently facing as opposed to at inception? Because I assume some of the challenges that you were facing at inception and the problems that are coming to your table and to attention. What is the main, probably like the main 2 ones that are just recurring in this era of soccer?
Sometimes, buddy, the more the things change, but the more they change, the more they stay the same. There are quite a number of challenges that we are faced with. One of the things is the life of the footballers beyond them having contributed in the game. Currently what's happening, which is one of the things that has always happened, but we're not aware of it. It's always been about the mental health and the mental state of the players during and after their playing days. There's so much pressure, that comes with playing football. The players, when they start playing, at the end of their careers, they are far worse off than when they started playing football. And this is made by a number of factors. Some of the issues is because financially they are not secured. But why are they not really financially secured? You know that football is a very short career. And it being a short career, we're talking about 10 years. The difference between you and I is that I could be playing football. We start at the same age.
Yeah.
You can work for the next coming 30 years. I can only work maybe for 7 to 10 years or so and on.
Maybe max 5 years.
I think 5 years I retire. When you retire, you've got access to your pension. When I retire, I don't have access to my pension. And the question is why? When I would have been taxed, and probably by the time I retire, I would have been taxed 5 times what you would have been taxed at that point when I retire. We have engaged this, which is the challenges that you are asking. We have engaged with government on this matter to say part of the things that we need to talk to would be the issues of sports tax.
Like a special tax.
Special tax for footballers.
Makes sense, yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of you taxing 35%. Take about 20%, 20%, 25. Then the 15%, don't give it back to me. Because if you give it back to me, I'll blow it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you need to create a kit. We've done this. I mean, we've engaged with the University of Johannesburg, where we sat down with them. We've done our research to see it's doable. The government must create a kit. And we feel that government can still have access to that particular kit and get the money. So whatever the difference in terms of what you ought to pay tax-wise, government will still do that. But when I retire at 35, I'll then be able to have access to that kind of amount that I've received, which is the first part that we're talking about. The other model will be the model that's used by Europeans. In Europe, when you sign a contract, you take a package. Let's say they'll say your package for the next coming 3 years would be, let's say, 20,000 USD. In that 20,000 USD, you've got access to 80%. The 20%, they put it away. So every month there's a contribution that you do. If you recall, and his soul rest in peace, he had said when he reached, had he reached 36, he would have at least gotten something like 13 million. That came as a result of that planning to say, this is how much you have access to and you'll be able to do it. And it becomes easier when you introduce it from a very early age, because at that point, the argument that we're raising is that what we then need to do is that every player must have access or must be entitled to a signing-on fee. Now, when you have a signing-on fee and you have a salary, you might take this money of the signing-on fee or 20%, which is a lump sum, and put it away. When you are 30, 33, you can make proper decisions, and you are then able to get to that particular point to say, how do we then deal with it? So our challenge lies in that how do we then prepare these young players, young people, such that they do not come back and become a problem of government once they have started playing. They are seen to you as a paupers, they die paupers, they are very poor people. And sometimes it is not because, which is one of the challenges, is that the problem lies with the decisions they make.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're just in time for some more soccer education with Thula, who is the president of the South African Football Players Union. Thank you for still being with us.
Thank you for coming through.
So I was reading an article that was posted in the media last month. It was regarding a mother in the Eastern Cape that mentioned that it's been like over a year and 6 months since she saw her son. And then the issues that of the agents, people are promising young African hopefuls that they'll find them opportunities overseas. They get there, they become like illegal immigrants. And I think that issue is just becoming a pandemic and becoming just worse each and every year. Is that within your jurisdiction as a union? And in terms of agents, are they regulated somehow in South Africa? Is there a body that regulates them so that like people can be able to like probably refer to a list of agents that are registered and people that can actually take accountability so should anything go wrong?
Look, in 2015, you'd recall, I think in 2015, the deadline was the 31st of March, if not the 15th of April that year. That SAPFU would have been given the responsibility to at least have a list. Remember, SAPFU is an authority of football in this country. Whether people are happy with SAPFU or not, or the person is that SAPFU is an authority of football, and they are an extension of the Confederation of CAF in the country. That's how it is now. Yes, there was supposed to have been some regulations. They were supposed to have drafted the list, but that process was stalled and got stopped, and everybody immediately could represent any other player. But this year, early last year, actually, with the new regulations, FIFA has gone back to say people must now begin to write exams and become, qualified agents. The unfortunate part is the issue of agents becomes a thorny issue in that if I play for Nhlanhla FC and you want to sign me, and I play for Nhlanhla FC, you want to sign me, you go to my agent who is not really registered because I play for Nhlanhla FC, but you want me. So you make that deal with him, whether I'm registered or not. So all the parties as well, they are playing, they've got a role to play, or a wrong role, or it's a right role that they are playing in ensuring that the rules are not properly regulated. But I agree with you, you are quite correct. There must be a body that says you've got so many people and these are the people that are able to register. But others will tell you that, but yes, we do have those people, but they are not the best that they have. It depends on what kind of player you have. If you've got a good player, whether I'm registered or not, I'll still do that. And by the way, I can work with a registered agent, so nothing stops me. I can just go there and get a fee and stuff and all that. But naturally, or in terms of the regulation, you're supposed to be having people registering and dealing with that. You are raising a very important issue of trafficking. As SAPFU, we're a member of an organization called FIFPro.
Yes.
FIFPro is the Federation of International Football Professionals. FIFPro is divided into four. It's divided into FIFPro Africa, FIFPro Asia, FIFPro America, and Europe. So that's who FIFPro is. We have we are a member of FIFPro Africa division. We are led by Jeremy Jitap in that division. I happen to be the deputy president of the FIFPro Africa division. We've got 5 board members from Egypt, Zimbabwe. You have, am I forgetting? My board will never be pleased with me. But we've got DRC, Congo, we've got Cameroon as well. So that is the board. Part of our responsibility is to deal fundamentally with all those issues, is to deal and address issues of football development on the continent. Because we strongly believe that if we can develop football properly on the continent, we'll be able to deal with all these issues, of child trafficking and so forth. Because young boys, indeed, especially now the market that's growing is the market in Asia. People come and say to you, I'm going to take you to Asia, I'll do this and there. But it happens here at home, by the way. We opened a case the other time here at Hillbrook against some guy who was training young kids in Tembisa. Because parents, and I think our parenting, this generation, sometimes it leaves much to be desired. You want to please your kid, they come to you say, Mommy, I want to play football. Pay 500. Somebody comes that you have never seen, you don't know about. This person comes to you and say, no, you can pay 1,000 rand every now and then, or give me 5,000. I'll find a team for this young man immediately. So the same concept that's being used locally is the same concept that's used. This guy was arrested. We had a case, and at least we would have played our part as SAPFU in terms of dealing with that particular matter. But it happens quite a lot on the African continent. But what are the reasons this thing is happening? It's because football in Africa is not properly regulated and it's not even professionalized.
I'm touching on to the women's soccer, right? I know that they're going to the World Cup, and there's been talks in terms of incentives and bonus and finances and stuff like that. How are their rights protected? And just in that aspect, how is it going?
Look, we've had a discussion with women. We spoke to them. They were very happy, by the way, with the package that has been given now for the AFCON. To say no, they are happy with it.
Yeah, the AFCON.
Because, yes, the AFCON have said no, they are happy with it. And as structured as is, it's okay. But hopefully, going forward, we need to do that. But which is one of the elements that we are dealing with. I mean, we've dispatched the team there through FIFPro. Because one of the things that we want to do is to discuss with FIFA in terms of equal pay when it comes to tournament for members, an increase for women footballers, so that they can increase the price, the money price for the tournament that they play. Because when you look at the difference between your AFCON payout for men and AFCON for these ladies, how they travel, most clubs when they travel, the ladies just go economy. But those main guys will say, no, we're not going to travel economy, we want business. Some to an extent they get, there are those few clubs, most clubs that will get a private jet here and there. Yeah. But in terms of the ticketing as well, you know, when you're going to fly anything more than 3 hours or 4 hours, you need to be in business. Because our view is that you are going to be the one playing. You're the one who must give us the product. You need to.
The board is the instrument.
You don't need Thula as the president of SAPFU sitting in business, where you as a player, misled, you are economy, you know, being crushed. But in 72 hours, you'll be the one who must take the field. So all those issues in terms of conditions of work we are dealing with, and we want them to change so that they reflect all that. Yes, we do talk with the ladies. We talk about these issues, we discuss them. We have raised this matter with SAFA here at home, especially with regards to the issue of the league, to say, can we have a better league for them, but what is the need for the players and so forth. And the level of FIFPro also, and which is some of the things that we must discuss here at home, is the issue of the Super League, to say, what is this thing called the Super League? You know, what does it mean? I mean, we've got the CAF Confederation, we've got the CAF Cup. So who's going to participate? We understand that there will be 24 teams participating. What are they saying? So you have got probably 3 teams from South Africa, you know. But what is our view? What is it that we want? How is this going to help develop? And this is our view. It's a project that comes from FIFA, by the way. Remember, FIFA wanted to, I mean, not FIFA, Europe wanted to introduce that Super League. But this thing, it's not, it's a subject that will be introduced. But we want to engage with FIFA, that when we have enough time to tell you exactly what we think about this Super League. We don't think that the Super League is going to give us the results that we want. Because if top teams, the winner gets about between 25 and 30 million USD. What does it mean to these leagues, to these other clubs that are there? The gaps will keep on widening. It doesn't really help. So we really need to mobilize properly. We are engaging, of course, with other countries to hear what's their appetite, what is their understanding. We're hoping that by the time we reach this August that we are talking of 2023, we would have at least made a few extracts and so forth.
Do not touch the dials, you guys, after the break. Welcome back to our last segment. I'm still with the president of the South African Football Players Union. I want to ask that I know the union offers bursaries for retired players if they want to further their studies or anything like that. Has it been effective? Are retired players interested? How has it been so far?
Look, it's not only for retired players. Current players as well. You know, they've got a right to apply for this bursary.
Also, it extends to current players as well.
Yeah, it extends. Okay. No, it extends to former players.
Oh, okay. No, I see.
Yes, it extends to former players. So if you want to go study law as a player, you apply through the office of the Secretary General to say, these are the courses that I want to do. And we encourage them to do that while playing football, because we know it can be a very long road. Player in Europe who studied his master's in psychology through these institutions. So we've got a number of these players, which will of course share the list with yourselves to say this is where we are. But it's important that we study. Remember when we started, we had said we want to have a player that understands, because a well-educated and well-informed player, it's better for the game, because they know what's good, what is it, what to do and what not to do. So they will make those proper decisions that are not necessarily going to compromise them or get them into problems.
Sure, just in closing, right? Just specifically on soccer, the quality of the performance that we've been getting from Bafana Bafana. When can we win the World Cup? I mean, you've got like over 700 members. Are you telling me we can't win? Like we can't qualify?
Football, I'm not there for. And football, you need to have proper structures. You need to invest in the development. We of the view that one of the things that we must do as a country, we must focus in the development of the game, so that whoever we are going to produce must be aligned to what we want to achieve as a country. We've spoken about 2022. But in terms of what we produce, firstly, I must train the trainers. I must have, at that level, be able to produce the best players. A very simple example that I like demonstrating is when Pep started with Barcelona. He didn't start with Barcelona, the first team. He started down there with those boys, and they understood each other. They understand the La Masia culture. They know what is it that we need to do. As South Africa, we must have, in our view, 12-year plan, which is short-term 4 years, medium-term 8 years, and the 12th year as a long-term. To say, this is where we are. We have proper structures. We can boost issues of development. We need to have under 15. We must have under 15 in the country. We must have under 17. We must have under 19. You must go and make your own research right now and see that there's qualifiers. I think the under 17 World Cup that's coming. When last did our under 17 play? There's under 23 that's coming. When last did we play? Are there any games that we are playing now? No, we are not playing anything. We are not doing anything. And we cannot just think, or one day we'll wake up in the morning and say, we are up now, we are going to win the World Cup. It's a process. Let us invest where it has the most. Let us not be emotional about it. Let's allow the process to take place. Let us build, and let's agree as a country that we are now building. And we must have a focus. If we know what the focus is, if we know where we want to go, we'll then be able to achieve. I have no doubt that in my lifetime, we'll be able to win the World Cup, as it were. So we're very close as winning the AFCON and with the ladies. And after that, we'll then be able to do that. And let's have the market. We must understand the market and produce for international markets. Let us sit down and have that particular development. If we've got a proper lower structures, development, have people in right places, then we'll be able to do it. There's quite a number of things that in our view we believe needs to be changed. Let us increase the number of clubs. For an example, you've got 16 teams in the Premier Soccer League. You've got 16 teams in the National First Division. Why can't we have 20 or 22, 22? Because now if these players, they leave, you only have got 16 sports. We are not going to let's have the championship. Let it be independent. Let it have its own structure. The people that are going to raise dollar for it. And we've got those important structures. That way, we'll be on our way to achieving something.
Thank you so much for making time. I know you're busy. I really, really do appreciate it and the work that you do as a trade union. I think just sitting down with you, I've noticed that it's not limited to the rights of the players. I think it's beyond that, the proper structures and systems in terms of the game of soccer as a whole, and how important the administrative side of things is. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
No, we thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with the viewers out there, and we hope that we will have a number of these talks, because you are a very key strategic partner. Without yourselves, we won't be able to do that. And let us come back and talk about this whole thing of the Super League and give you the views of what this is all
Thank
about.
you.
Okay, we thank you.
South Africa, I do believe that what happens on the pitch and the technical side of things, it's important. But we need to look at the holistic side of things as well, that should such things such as like proper regulatory structures and systems be in place, maybe, just maybe, we can provide just quality performance in terms of soccer. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was indeed an informative conversation that we had with the president. I'll see you again next time. My name is Thula, and goodbye.